Hello everyone, and on today's lesson, we're digging a bit deeper into the subject of prototyping to understand how to use the Bezier animation curve in order to achieve different goals and understand the best approach for different kinds of interaction and transitions. So for this example here, I have this random layout, so don't worry about it. Let's just focus on animation for this case. And in the second one, I have the same screen, but now with this modal open in the bottom. And I want to have this transition. So I have the exact same screen here. I took my container element here, replicated, making it smaller, reduced the opacity to feel like there's an overlay, and brought the modal on. So in order to make this modal sliding from the bottom, what I'll do is Command C in the modal and copy it here. So this will allow Figma to interpolate the different states of each object in the scene from the step 1 to the step 2. Now let's go to the prototype tab here. On this button here, I have added this interaction connecting to the next step. So one click, it will navigate to the second step page, and let's go to the Smart Animate. So always use the Smart Animate option to make this kind of interpolation, so you will have more control of what is happening. Then I have all kinds of presets here, but the thing that I want to address is how to use this custom bezier here. So how you can manipulate the curves in order to achieve the exact interaction that you need. So since you're creating this animation of something entering, the way to go is to select either the option to ease in and ease out, which means accelerate in the beginning and decelerate, or we can just use the ease in, which means that we'll start the movement slowly and then accelerate towards the end. So with this in selected, to understand better the curve, I can just, after selecting ease in, I can select the custom bezier option here. And now I see how the ease in curve works. So as you can see, I have these 2 points in this chart here, this graph. And I also have these numbers here. Each value here represents something in this graph. So let's see what it is. The first point here is the start of the movement. And the second point is the end of the movement. If I pull it back here, it gives me these numbers, 0, 0, 1, 1. Which means it's a linear movement. So x-axis means time and the y-axis means progression. So the more time passes, which is like my duration here, closer it gets to the final state of the interaction. In our case, it's coming from this page to this one here. And the time is what set them apart, 300 milliseconds. If I want to slow down the animation at the beginning and then accelerate it towards the end, I need to drag it so it will make the progression a bit slower and then you get faster to the end. It's like 0 and 1, which means 0 and 100%, right? First number here is the x value for this point here. Second number is the y value for this point here. Third number is the x value for this point here. X axis for this one, so it's at the end, so that's why it's 1. It's full duration here. And the last number is the y position. That's 1 as well because it's at the top of the progression. First number change. As you can see, let me play my prototype here. So when I hit this button here, it plays animation. And as we can see, we have this nice transition of it entering slow and then getting faster towards the end. Let's see once again. So I'm using ease in because it's something entering the page, something new coming to the user. So if you want to make it a bit smoother, we can also add the ease in and out, which means we'll make it slow at the beginning, go faster in the middle, and decelerate towards the end. So let's see how that looks like. I'll select my doodle once again here, bring up my panel. And now if I want to make this ending of the movement slow down, I need to bring this handle here. So now I'll start to see this kind of S-shaped curve, which means that it starts slow, gets faster in the middle, and then decelerates towards the end. Let me play the prototype once again. Nice, right? So with this handle, you can choose how much easing you add to each step of the transition. So if I want to go really slow at the beginning, I can also add a bit more smoothness to the end. So as you can see, the S-curve starts to become a bit sharper, which means that the movement will be more snappy, very fast at the middle and really slow at the end once again. So let me play the prototype so you can feel how it's looking. See how much faster it looks? The duration is the same. I didn't change that. But just by changing the easings, you see that it looks that the movement is much faster. Use the numbers instead of the handles if you feel more comfortable with it. So let me put 6 here, 0, I put 4 and 1 here. So yeah, it will look more or less like this. Now, let's see the other step of the interaction. That is the second step here. What I want to happen is like tapping outside the button sheet. It will close it and bring it back to the previous stage. But now, since I'm actually missing something, a good practice here would be to use an ease out interaction. So let me show you what I mean. set a custom. I'll set it to ease out. So in order for us to customize the Bezier curve, I'll hit custom Bezier. It shows me how the default ease out Bezier curve looks. It starts a bit faster and then gets slower towards the end. And why we're doing this for this kind of interaction? Because since we're dismissing something, it can happen a bit faster because the user is already aware of the context and how it works. It's not like we're introducing something new to get their attention. Usually, this missing interaction actually takes a bit less time, so I'll actually reduce the time here to 200 milliseconds. You can do like this, or you can also do like this, which means that the start will be faster, and then we'll get a bit slower towards the end. So I can always do it like this, smoothing the curve a bit. Then this means that the beginning of the dismissing will be faster, and then start slowing down towards the end. So let me show you how it looks in the prototype. I'll click here. It brings back the page. As you can see, it happens a bit faster and has less smoothness to it because we are addressing this missing action. So some good practice here. Let me type it out for you. So entering transitions as the first one that you saw, we usually use the ease in or ease in and out. And for this missing transition, you usually go with ease out and usually faster with a smaller duration. As for duration, a good range would be within 100 milliseconds and 600 milliseconds. And anything above 600 might be too slow. But of course, it also depends on the size of the elements that you're moving. Really small elements like badges, small buttons and all of that, in component transitions, you should go for a smaller duration. And if you're adding full screen transitions, we should go something from 300 or higher, as we did here, right? So here I'm using 300. It's fine. We could go like 400, would also be cool. Entire screen changes with like the background going backwards, the overlay appearing, and also the modal sliding in. There are too many transitions happening, so that's why we should give it a bit more time for it to process. So let's see how naturally it flows. So now let's address the y-axis, because most of the smoothness that we added here was concerning the x-axis, which basically means smoothing the transition. So for this, let me show you I already show you guys how to build this kind of interaction in a previous lesson. So I'll leave the link to it in the cards and also in the description. But let me play the prototype so you can see what I'm talking about. Here I have this split screen behavior where I can use this handler here, drag it up, drag it down. So as you can see, once I finish the dragging gesture, that gives this snappy feel to it. How do I add this overshoot and this follow through effect? So I have these interactions here set as drag. So as you can see, what we have here is this handler going all the way up beyond the shot here, the shot line. So that means that if this is 100% progression, is as far as it goes, if the line is going above this line here of the 100% progression, it means that it goes beyond the parameter change and then comes back to the final stage. So that's why you feel that snappy effects. Let me bring this back down so you see that now when I drag these up, I don't have that. It just gets to its place without these like bouncing effects that I had before. But if I bring these down, I still have the same interaction set for the back interaction. That's why I still see this bouncy effect here. Let me select this once again. I'll then bring this all the way up. And the more I go up, the bigger this effect of bounciness will be. So you can have a really clear vision of what is affecting. Let me play the prototype. And when I bring it up, see how bouncy it is? And then I think now it's clear that if I move this handle up, it means that I'm changing the progression value. And if I move it this, I'm changing the time. So still within the context of the overshoot. Another example that I can give you guys of this in and out back. So let's say I want to create some anticipation of the movement on this interaction here, making the model go a bit up before starts moving down and dismissing it completely. What I need to do is see this first element here, the step 2, the starting point. The second one will be this step 1, the final stage of the interaction. And within this line here is everything that happens in between. So if this line going up means moving from this step here to this, means that the line going up here is the modal dismissing. So the modal going down actually. And if I want to make it move the opposite direction of the natural movement, which is coming from the step 2 to step 1, I need to make this a bit lower, as you can see here. So this line here marks the 0 progression. And since the progression is going down, if I go below 0, it will actually go a bit up and then start coming down at this point here. It's too fast. Let me make a bit slower just for the sake of this demonstration. Let me double the time, play the prototype once again. When I click here, so it makes these small movements up before starts going down and dismissing completely, creating this anticipation effect. Let me play once again. So like this and this. So that's what I got for this Figma critique, how to fine tune your interactions and make them more delightful. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel for more content like this. If you have any questions, please shoot me in the comments down below. And something new for those interested in supporting this channel, I have the Amazon Associate link. So if you can purchase your stuff through this link, you won't spend anything more and you help me keeping doing this work. So that's a way that I found for you to support the channel without losing any money. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.